Number 10. The Darwin's tubercle. Ever looked closely at your ear, maybe while pretending to listen intently to someone you'd rather ignore? Well, if you squint really hard, and if you're one of the lucky few, you might spot a small, subtle bump on the upper outer rim of your ear. Congratulations, you've just found a Darwin's tubercle. And no, it's not a misplaced zit or a tiny alien tracking device. It's named after the granddaddy of evolution himself, Charles Darwin, because he speculated it was a vestigial remnant from a time when human ears were, well, pointier. Think about it. Many mammals, especially those who need to hear a twig snap from a mile away to avoid becoming dinner, have ears that can swivel and point. Their ear tips often have a distinct, pointed shape. The Darwin's tubercle is basically the human body's faint, polite whisper of that ancient, pointy ear heritage. It's like your ear just can't quite let go of its former glory as a high-tech sound funnel. Only about 10 to 20% of the population sports this little bump, making it a relatively rare badge of honor for your inner prehistoric predator. It's completely harmless, serves absolutely no known purpose today, and exists purely to remind you that your ancestors were probably much better at listening for rustling leaves than you are at finding your keys. Basically, it's your ear's way of saying, "I used to be cool, I swear." Number 9. The supersight, tetrachromacy. Imagine seeing the world with an extra layer of color, a richness and depth that most of us can only dream of. For you, a stoplight isn't just red, yellow, and green. It's a symphony of subtle variations within those hues. You might be a tetrachromat, a genuine color superhero. Most humans are trichromats, meaning we have 3 types of cone cells in our eyes that detect red, green, and blue light. But a rare few, predominantly women, lucky them, possess a 4th type of cone cell, allowing them to perceive an extended spectrum of colors. Think of it like this. The average person's vision is a standard definition TV. A tetrachromat's vision is like a brand new 8K HDR screen, revealing details and nuances that are simply invisible to the rest of us. While it's incredibly difficult to prove definitively, as our language for describing color is limited to what the average person can see, scientists believe these individuals can distinguish between shades that appear identical to trichromats. This isn't just being good at colors, it's a fundamental difference in perception. You could be walking through a field of flowers, and what looks like a uniform patch of green to your friends might be a breathtaking tapestry of emerald, jade, and chartreuse to you. The downside? Art galleries might be a constant disappointment, and picking out matching socks could become an existential crisis. Basically, your eyes are running on an upgraded graphics card that the rest of humanity hasn't even heard of yet. Number 8. The extra rib, cervical rib. Ever felt a weird ache in your neck or shoulder that just won't quit? Or maybe you've had a doctor look at an x-ray and pause, then slowly say, "Well, that's interesting." You might be one of the rare individuals with a cervical rib. This isn't just a quirky bone anomaly, it's an actual extra rib that grows from the 7th cervical vertebra in your neck, just above your normal first rib. It's like your body decided, you know what this skeleton needs? More ribs. Specifically, in a place they don't usually go. This anatomical surprise happens in less than 1% of the population, making it pretty unique. While it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, it's usually harmless. However, sometimes this extra rib can cause problems. Because it's extending into a space already packed with nerves and blood vessels, the thoracic outlet, it can compress them, leading to a condition called thoracic outlet syndrome. This can manifest as pain, numbness, tingling, and weakness in your arm and hand. So, while it sounds like a cool party trick to have an extra rib, it might actually be a literal pain in the neck, an arm. Basically, your neck decided to grow a rogue bone, and sometimes that bone just really loves to annoy your nervous system. And number 7, the missing muscle, palmaris longus. Quick, hold your hand out, palm up, then touch your thumb to your pinky finger. Now slightly flex your wrist. See a raised band of tendon running down the middle of your forearm from your wrist towards your elbow. If you do, congratulations, you've got a palmaris longus muscle. If you don't, well, congratulations. You're part of an increasingly common club of individuals whose bodies have decided this particular muscle is entirely optional. It's like your arm's appendix. except slightly less prone to lighting itself on fire. This muscle, when present, is a tiny, long, slender muscle that runs from your elbow down to your wrist. Historically, it was crucial for our primate ancestors for gripping and climbing. Think about swinging through trees all day. You'd want all the grip strength you could get. But as humans started walking upright and our hands became more adept at fine motor skills than swinging from branches, the palmaris longus became less and less necessary. Roughly 10 to 15% of people today are born without it in one or both arms, and surprisingly, it causes absolutely no functional difference. You won't be weaker, less agile, or unable to open pickle jars. In fact, if you're missing it, doctors sometimes celebrate, because that tendon can be harvested and used for reconstructive surgeries elsewhere in the body, like repairing a torn ligament in the wrist or ankle. Basically, if you don't have this muscle, your body is just ahead of the evolutionary curve, casually shedding unnecessary baggage. Number 6. The double vision tendon, extensor indicis proprius. Alright, try this one. Hold out your hand, palm down, flat on a table. Now, without moving any other finger, try to lift only your index finger. Easy, right? Now try to do it again. But imagine your index finger is an independent puppet that can wave goodbye to your middle finger without dragging anyone else along for the ride. You're using your extensor indicis proprius, a truly unique tendon that gives your index finger its remarkable independence. What's rare, though, is having a doubled version of this tendon, giving you an almost supernatural degree of individual finger control. Most of your fingers share tendons and muscles, which is why it's hard to move your ring finger without your pinky or middle finger also twitching along. But your index finger has its own dedicated muscle and tendon, the extensor indicis proprius, EIP, which allows it to move on its own. It's thought this evolved because of our increasing dexterity and tool use. Some lucky individuals, though, are born with a duplicated EIP tendon, sometimes referred to as double-jointed index fingers. Though it's not a true joint anomaly, this means an even more precise and powerful independent movement for that finger. While not outwardly visible, it's a subtle anatomical upgrade that would make you a maestro at typing, an unparalleled surgeon, or just really, really good at pointing definitively. Basically, your index finger got an express pass to independence, and for some, a VIP upgrade too. Number 5. The single palm crease, simian crease. Look at your palm. Most people have 3 distinct creases running across it, like topographical lines on a miniature landscape. But some individuals, a small percentage of the population, have only 1 deep crease running straight across. This is known as a simian crease, or a single transverse palmar crease. And while it might make for interesting palm readings, if you're into that sort of thing, it's actually a fascinating genetic marker, often linked to certain developmental conditions, but also appearing in perfectly healthy individuals. Historically, this crease was called a simian crease because it's characteristic of the palms of apes and monkeys, hence simian. In humans, its presence can sometimes be an indicator of chromosomal abnormalities like Down syndrome or fetal alcohol syndrome, occurring in about 50% of people with Down syndrome. However, it's crucial to understand that it also appears in 1 to 2% of the general population who are otherwise perfectly healthy and neurotypical. So if you or someone you know has a single palmar crease, it's not an automatic diagnosis, but rather a rare physical trait that points to a subtle variation in embryonic development. It just means your hand took a slightly different path when it was forming, potentially echoing a more ancient, simplified hand structure. Basically, your palm just decided to keep things minimalist, occasionally sending your doctor into a mild, unnecessary panic. Number 4. The ear wiggle gene. Remember how we talked about the Darwin's tubercle, that little ear bump? Well, closely related to that subtle anatomical nod to our past is the ability to actually move your ears independently of your head. We briefly touched upon the tiny, largely useless auricularis muscles that surround your ears. For most of us, they're about as active as a slacker on a Monday morning. But for a select few, those muscles still retain a glimmer of their ancestral purpose, allowing for a noticeable wiggle. While pretty much everyone has these vestigial muscles, only about 10 to 20% of the population can actually make them do anything useful, or rather useless but entertaining. This isn't just a party trick. It's literally your body remembering how to orient your sound receptors. For many animals, being able to swivel their ears like a satellite dish is crucial for pinpointing sounds. A rustle in the grass, a distant growl. Our ancestors likely had this ability to help them hunt or avoid being hunted. As humans evolved better neck mobility and relied more on forward-facing vision, the need for ear movement diminished, and the muscles atrophied. So if you can wiggle your ears, you're essentially carrying around a live demo of a feature your body depreciated a long, long time ago. It's like having a working floppy disk drive in your brand new supercomputer. Totally unnecessary, but kinda cool in a nostalgic way. Basically, your ears still have the old point and listen software installed, and for you, it actually runs. Number 3, the extra bone. Fibella. Have you ever heard of a bone hiding out in your knee that most people don't even have? Meet the fibella, a small, bean-shaped bone that occasionally pops up in the tendon behind your knee, specifically in the gastrocnemius muscle. It's a sesamoid bone, meaning it's embedded within a tendon, much like your kneecap, patella. While once a common feature in humans, it largely vanished, only to make a surprising comeback in recent times. Historically, the fibella was thought to be quite rare in humans, present in perhaps 11% of the global population at the turn of the 20th century. However, studies show a dramatic increase in its prevalence over the last century, now appearing in over 39% of people. Why the resurgence? Scientists theorize it might be linked to increased body weight and taller stature, putting more stress on the knee joint and potentially causing this bone to develop to help reinforce the area. In many animals, especially carnivores, the fibella is a common and functional bone, offering mechanical advantage to leg muscles. For humans, it's largely asymptomatic, meaning most people don't even know they have it. But occasionally it can cause pain or irritation if it rubs against other structures or gets inflamed. So if you've got an inexplicable knee niggle, you might just be part of the fibella renaissance. Basically, your knee is spontaneously generating bonus content, and sometimes that content is a bit of a pain. Number 2, the super stamina gene, ACTN3. Ever met someone who seems to be naturally faster, stronger, or just have an insane amount of endurance without even trying that hard? They might be carrying a genetic superpower in their muscles, specifically a variant of the ACTN3 gene. This isn't a visible body feature, but it dictates the very composition of your fast-twitch muscle fibers, influencing your athletic potential in profound ways. The ACTN3 gene provides instructions for making a protein called alpha-actinin 3, which is found predominantly in fast-twitch muscle fibers. These are the fibers responsible for rapid, powerful movements, like sprinting or lifting heavy weights. Most people have at least one working copy of this gene. However, about 20% of the population, and up to 50% in some Asian populations, have 2 non-working copies, meaning their bodies don't produce any alpha-actinin 3. These individuals tend to have more slow-twitch muscle fibers, which are better suited for endurance activities. The truly rare feature, however, is having 2 working copies of the gene, the RR genotype, which is associated with elite sprinters and power athletes. If you have this genetic combination, your body is predisposed to produce more of those powerful, explosive muscle fibers. It's not a guarantee of Olympic gold, training still matters, but it certainly gives you a significant head start. Basically, your DNA might have silently chosen you for the superhero origin story, at least in the realm of raw power. Number 1, the golden blood, Rh null. You thought your blood type was just A, BAB, or O, positive or negative? Think again. There's a blood type so rare, so extraordinarily precious, that it's known as golden blood, or Rh null. If you have this, you're part of a club so exclusive, its members could probably fit into a very small elevator. This isn't just rare, it's arguably the rarest blood type in the world, making you a literal living legend in the medical community. The Rh system is one of the most complex blood group systems, with 61 different antigens. If your red blood cells lack all of these 61 Rh antigens, you are Rh null. To put its rarity into perspective, since its discovery in 1961, fewer than 50 people worldwide have been confirmed to have this blood type, and only a handful of those are active donors. Why is it golden? because it's a universal donor for anyone with rare Rh blood types. It can save lives where no other blood can. The flip side is, if you need a transfusion, finding compatible blood is incredibly difficult, almost impossible, leading to unique and often dangerous medical challenges. Living with Arch Null means constant awareness and careful planning, as even minor injuries could become life-threatening without access to your incredibly rare match. Basically, your blood is so unique, it's either the ultimate lifesaver for others or a constant high-stakes gamble for yourself.